Hello everybody, it's foofootoo here, and today I am very excited to start a new series with my good buddy John. Do you want to say hi?
Hello everybody, I'm really excited to start this series. And what series is this going to be, Sam?
This is going to be called Why We Need Blank for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Very excited for the new games coming out, and John and I thought that we'd get back together, don our superhero coats and everything to do this awesome series, just like our Why You Should Use series back in the day for Sun and Moon. And this is because we're both super excited for the games, and we just want to consider what could be in those games and what we would like to see. We're going to discuss a number of different things, see what evidence is there for it and how likely it is, and we're actually going to rank how likely we think it's going to be and how cool it would be, just so that we are trying to keep realistic, because obviously a lot of our ideas won't happen, but we just thought it would be a good way to get even more excited for the games if that was possible. So for this first one, we are going to be considering revisiting old regions. But which one are we going to be considering on your channel, John? Because you're going to be uploading a video as well, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Every Wednesday we will both be uploading a video, and today I'm going to be going over why we need to revisit Unova in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
Great, let's just get on to this video. So what we want is to revisit a second region, as I said, but in my video we're going to be considering revisiting Kanto. This is the Generation 1 region, and it's a nostalgia region for so many people. It's the first region that there is. Really, really cool, and it would be great to go back. We have actually been back there once before in Gold and Silver, and obviously Heart Gold and Soul Silver, where you go back to the Kanto region, but it's such a great region. It's so rich, the characters are amazing, and who doesn't want to go back one more time?
Moving on to why it may happen, there is a lot of evidence actually showing at least ties from the Kanto region to the Alola region, and a lot of evidence that could lead us to believe that there would be a visitation of Kanto in a potential Alola-based game. And that just starts with the Alolan forms, as all of those are based off of Kanto Pokemon, and that in itself is a huge tie. You know, whether or not they ever do anything with that, it would make sense to go back to there and then just see, you know, a Rattata for the first time, at least in that game when it looks normal, and like regular Executor, this, that, and the other. It'd be pretty cool to go over there, and maybe there would even be Kanto forms of some Alola Pokemon. To go along with that, just the fact that there are Alolan forms in well, Alola, obviously, it means that Kanto must be geographically close in the Pokemon world, as those Kanto Pokemon had to migrate to Alola somehow, and it wouldn't make sense that they're on different sides of the Pokemon world. To go along with that, your character actually came from Kanto. They originally lived there, and then they moved to Alola, so you could see them maybe go back and revisit their hometown. Maybe there's family back there. And that would make a lot of sense. And to go along with that, there's also Samson Oak in those games, who is the relative of Professor Oak. And then Red and Blue make an appearance, which is really, really huge. I don't know if we've seen Red or Blue make an appearance in any other game. And even if we have, it was really exciting, really cool to see both of them, as obviously they are huge components of the Kanto region in general. And maybe the most important thing that really supports this idea is that Lily goes to find Bill Lusamine at the end of the game. And maybe in Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, we will actually go along with Lily as she goes to Lusamine to find Bill, and we can help her find Bill.
So, how could this be done? How could this be implemented in the new games? Well, we've had a good think about this, and there could well be like a side story or a post-game to help Lily and Lusamine find Bill. Bill in the first generation games turned himself into a Pokemon, and now Lusamine is trying to find Bill again so that they can wonder how Lusamine and Nihilego weirdness went on, because there were some fusion things going there, and Lily wanted to find out a bit more about that. So in order to try and clear all the traces of Ultra Beast from Lusamine, maybe Lily takes her to see Bill, but ends up with an Ultra Beast outbreak in Kanto. How cool would that be, with wormholes appearing all over Kanto? And maybe you like travel through Kanto in a different direction, trying to close down all of these ultra wormholes. I think it would be so awesome. Not only that, you would potentially be able to meet some of your family that live in Kanto, find out a bit more about the characters' origins, and you could also maybe see some well-known characters throughout the series, but also have that interaction with Samson Oak and Professor Oak. It would be really cool to see those two get together and have a good chat. I think it would be wicked to see.
I could go on forever on why this would be awesome, as just visiting a second region is something that both of us and a ton of other Pokemon fans have wanted to see happen again. I mean, the only time we've ever seen it is in the Generation 2 games, where you actually went back to Kanto, and a lot of people have actually talked about wanting another Kanto remake, and I feel like this would be the best option. You know, why remake those games again when there's other games that could do that for, when you could just put it in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and we could go back there. There's enough ties that it makes a lot of sense, and it would be really cool to revisit so many of people's favorite characters, see how they've grown, maybe some of the gyms have changed. You know, Sam came up with that really incredible idea with the Ultra Beast outbreak, and just in general, I mean, I love Kanto, and there's a lot of nostalgia with that game, and I think it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. I think it would be so fun. And again, it would just add even more depth to the game. That's why I like going back to Kanto, because you can really see how Pokemon has evolved over the time. In each different generation, something new is added and it looks graphically different. And now we're walking in not just up, down, left and right. You can walk in all sorts of ways. You can ride Pokemon. I think it would be so cool to see all of those things back in the home region of Kanto. I think it would be so great. We haven't been there since Heart Gold and Soul Silver back in Generation 4. We're now in Generation 7. It's so much further on. And I think it's about time that we can see all the advancements that have come in the Pokemon games. I think it would be such a nice way to view that and to really appreciate how awesome these games are. So now we're going to consider how likely and how cool these are, because we've been talking about how much we would love to see it happen, but is it actually likely at all? Is this realistic, or are we just, you know, having an amazing daydream? So in terms of how likely it is, I think it's probably less likely than other potential things, but there is actually quite a lot of evidence there that it would make sense. It would at least make sense, even if it's not very likely. But if a region were to be added, I think this is potentially the most likely region that we would revisit, just because there's a lot of tie-ins there. It would make sense, especially with the little fact that Lily has gone to Kanto, and Lily was such a huge character in Sun and Moon. So I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10 for likelihood. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, because less likely things have happened. So 4 out of 10. I'm hoping that this does happen though.
And talking about how cool this would actually be, this might be one of the things that scored the highest in the series, as this is a 9 out of 10 for both me and Sam. And a big reason is, well, one, we want to see another region, but just the idea of an Ultra Beast outbreak in Kanto and running around, you know, maybe with both of the Oaks. I mean, you already have that potential story of going to find Bill, and I think there's a lot of different things you could do with this game. And we've already seen, you know, characters like Red and Blue in the Alola region, and just having all the characters that visit the Alola region go back to Kanto, maybe just even more characters. I don't know. I think there's just so many possibilities for this making sense, and there's already some things laid out. The groundwork is there for a very fantastic game. So this, easy 9 out of 10.
So if we put those scores together, we get a final score of 6.5 out of 10, which is very respectable, especially seeing as though this is probably one of the less likely things. That coolness score really helps it out. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I really want this to happen. Please let us know what you think, whether you think it would be more or less likely, and if you want to see this, or if you'd like to see something else, maybe a different region, or if you think that a different region is even more likely than Kanto. But that's going to be all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you, John, for coming onto my channel. Please go and check out John's video all about Unova. There's some different evidence to point towards that, and there are some different reasons why that would be really cool. So definitely go and watch his video. But that's going to be all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I've been foofootoo, you've been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.